I was in the bed. I had put my son to sleep, the older son, Eli. We was talking about my mom, and I felt the tears coming, and I was like, all right, I can either do the thing where I push him back and be like, yeah, we can do that. Or do I want to just show him how I feel, like for real?
Today, on If You Knew Better, we're joined by Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, husband, and father, Eric Bellinger. In this conversation, we're talking about emotional safety, vulnerability, communication, and the relationship standards we learn from our parents. Eric shares with us everything he's learned about how to build a lasting partnership, navigate growth and change together, and how to communicate your needs as a man. We'll also touch on grief, fatherhood, and how he's teaching emotional openness to his children. We're just going to jump into it because I'm very excited to talk to you about this topic today because
Awesome.
I have a lot to learn. I think everybody has a lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
You are on a really impressive journey of, I think, just emotional maturity as a man. Your father, your husband, a son.
Mm-hmm.
And you are getting to a place where you're feeling more comfortable sharing your feelings.
Yes.
And that takes time, right?
It does.
And I want to talk to you about that today, but definitely let you know, because I think this is one of the reasons why men don't always feel comfortable sharing their feelings, that this is a safe space. Anything that you share with us today won't be weaponized or used against you because I'll be seeing you in the streets.
Right, for real.
And really that the goal is to not only give you a space to share this journey that you're on, but also to help other men find their safe space or create it, and to help the women out there make sure that we are creating a safe space for men to be vulnerable and to be open. So that is the intention today.
I love the foundation. It's deeply rooted. For starters, it's just cool to be able to speak on the topic and, let alone have someone just remind me and men in general that we're here for you. You know what I'm saying? We got your back. And oftentimes it's never even discussed, whether it's the topics like mental health or grieving, like we were speaking about earlier, or love or tears. Those things are just forbidden for men. So I'm just happy that we're bringing light to the conversation and that I'm in the pilot seat because I'm so very well equipped.
Listen, I am merely a co-pilot today, pressing the buttons. So let me ask you a question. Do you remember the first time that you felt unsafe having emotions?
I think I was like 9.
Okay.
Started when my sister passed. My sister passed when she was 5 years old, and I was 9. So during that time, the church and everybody was really there for me and my family and just letting us know that they had our back. And I remember not knowing how to regulate my emotions, and my responses to people were very quick, very witty, very smart, and I think after each of the instances, I would be thinking about it still in my head, like, why you say that like that? Or you shouldn't have said that. That was mean, And so once that happened, it was tough for me to just truly blurt out how I really felt, because it was like, is this me or is this the scarred version of me? But after a while, I pretty much just shut it down. Instead of having them happen, I got on myself pretty tough and was just like, I'm just not gonna say nothing. So it turned from that to holding a lot of stuff in, and that's where I was at for the majority of the time after that, until maybe a few years ago, like 5 years ago. It had been very, I hold everything in.
And all this time, was there ever anybody who you felt like made space for you or asked you questions that made you feel like, okay, I can share? Do you think you're not opening up made people really, I guess, feel like maybe you don't want to, maybe there wasn't any more there? What was your thought?
No, it wasn't really no one there to speak about that, especially in the household. I think it caused a lot of tension between my mom and dad. And it was a thing where just no one talks about it, you know? So when my mom and dad was trying to pull their relationship really back together, because I saw that it just started slowly tearing them apart, it didn't have room for us to grieve as a family. You know, I think we were all so hurt, trying to figure it out and pick up the pieces along the way, that it took me later on down the line, graduating high school, saying, hey guys, all right, I'm moving out. Thank you. It's been great. I've been dreaming of this day. It's 18. I'm out of here. And then after that, they was like, all right, well, we're getting a divorce. So I'm like, oh my God, that's why it was holding it together for me this whole time. So not only was I uncomfortable with speaking about it, like it wasn't a place to speak about it after I had left the house, and seeing that, it made it like worse, because it was like, man, that was what I don't even know what that was, you know? So even living with that for a while, it was just like another thing that I was questioning and not sure of how two people could be in the same house and the feelings not be what they portrayed.
What was that feeling though, I guess, when they parted ways, and did you feel guilt, like they only stayed together for me, you know, mom's enduring this pain, dad, like how did that feel to you as an 18-year-old? You're still a
As an
kid.
18-year-old, I was angry, low-key. I didn't see it as like, oh, thank you. It was more so like angry, because I'm like, it felt like lies. It felt like I saw this, but it was really that. And from not being around them anymore and already being, you know, out of the house, it was like I was on my journey. I started my music pursuit, and I really didn't look back. I just was like, all right, well, I got to do what I got to do, and I ain't going to do mine like that when it's time.
What did you feel like you would change?
I think just making decisions that were thought out, very thought out, you know, because I looked at the root of the things with my mom and dad, like, and I'm like, okay, I know that they got together junior high, they're junior high school sweethearts, and, you know, they didn't have the experience, I would say, to know, like, okay, this is my person. It was more so like first love, high school sweethearts, married at 19. And for me, I was like, yo, that's such a big decision. When I make that decision, when I choose my wife, this is going to be the person that I absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that I just can't live without. So for starters, it was making sure that my partner was the right one for me.
Okay. You've opened up a whole new conversation.
Yeah.
I very rarely hear men talk about their requirements for a relationship. I'm sure they have them. I hope.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. You got
But you know, women are very much, here's my list, and he has to look like this and have this and love the Lord and all the things that we put on that list. And I very rarely hear men talk about the list. It's usually like, you know, she's bad and she cooks and whatever those things are. You had this early requirement for what even the perfect woman means to you, what it looks like, what it feels like. Talk to me about that. How did, because you do have an amazing wife that obviously you've identified.
Yeah. No,
What
for sure.
what were those requirements then, knowing what you knew and how you grew up?
Yeah. So growing up with mom and dad, although, like I said, by the time I graduated, I had still only seen them, you know what I mean, together. So for me, it was like, oh yeah, I grew up with both my parents. And seeing the way my dad treated my mom, seeing the way my mom treated my dad, it was like, okay, this is the standard. This is it. the household, the perfect American dream, essentially. Seeing my dad go to work, and my mom was very domestic. She would make sure everything was just on point, very God fearing. So everything was a book from mom. Essentially looking for her and my partner subconsciously. When me and Maya started hanging out, it was like it was everything for me. I think it started. I think she's a little older than me, maybe just a little bit, like 5 years.
Cut.
No, she had cooling. She knows. She know. Like she. That's where it's like the dynamic is. It's like so respectful because it's like, man, like, okay, what do you have to say about this situation? Or I know your experience and your wisdom can help me in this. And I had I hadn't experienced that in no one else. It was like, okay, we can talk and I can learn something from you. I can talk to you. We're on the same mind frame. And it was just like knowing going into the relationship that I'm not here to play. And she was on the same, even more so. I was like, oh, I thought my program was strict. Or is it strict? You know what I'm saying? But it was dope because everyone else was like, there was no program to even be like tainted. They wasn't even tripping. It was just like, yeah, I'm happy to be here. So with her, it was, the same with me. Like, yo, this is all I want. This is gonna have to be exclusive. This is gonna be serious. Like, we done already did all that. So just going into it, knowing we're here for the long haul early, it was like, oh yeah, this ain't no play.
And how did she specifically make you feel safe at that time, or even if you didn't fully know, at least enough
Yeah.
to go into a long-term
Yeah.
relationship with her?
Well, for starters, conversation. First night conversation was like, what? This is eye opening. This is just a different type of conversation. Just that alone. While we were talking, the connection was so deep. And a lot of the times, the surface level conversation just doesn't move me when it comes to picking a partner. So she had just the right amount of everything that kept me interested. And, to this day, just keeps me yearning for more.
What are those things that you see in someone that you feel comfortable enough to share with, or to be vulnerable, or to cry in front of?
Yeah.
What are those actual tangible things that make you as a man say, "Oh, I'm safe with her"?
Like in the beginning of the relationship, I was for sure like, I'm Macho Man Randy Savage. You know what I'm saying? Snap to a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah. And I think we all are. We come in relationships with our guard up, not to be afraid of showing weakness, but to display strength and masculinity, to show a protector, to show someone that like, yo, I got you. And tears normally don't represent that initially. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't until later down the line that I really felt like, okay, I can open up, but it didn't happen with me trying to say, all right, babe, here we go, let's get these tears off. It was me genuinely being in my feelings during whatever the time was, whether it's grief, whether it's just the burdens of being a man, whatever it may be. I try to find my little cubby. Honestly, I try to find my little, nook and cranny, whether I go to the car, whether I go to a living room, or just a room that no one else is in. And that's usually when I'm able to let it out, and when I feel like I'm alone. But during those times, each and every time, somehow she always found me when I was in that vulnerable space. And while I was in it, she would just come behind me quietly, rub my back, not say anything until she feels like, okay. But then the only thing she would say is, it's okay. It's going to be okay. I'm here for you. I got you. And then that alone made me just be like, like, take it there for real. I was like, okay, like I feel like I'm actually being wrapped up. I feel the blanket of love. I feel the covering that makes me feel like it's okay rather than trying to hide it and sneak out the pain.
I think the issue, and I'll say this for myself, in learning how to support my significant other and make sure that they feel loved or supported or safe. As a woman, you're like, I need to have the answer.
Yeah.
What can I say to him to fix
Yeah.
this? Or and y'all are not looking for us to
Yeah.
fix anything.
Nah,
We
it's
don't
not to
have the
fix.
answer.
It's not to fix. I think it's just for you to know when it's needed. It's the intuition to be there and not to overwhelm, because sometimes the wrong questions could keep the guard up, because it's like, oh, this question requires me to be manly again, rather than I'm not saying anything, but I'm noticing when you're not the same. I can tell that you're in a mood. I could tell that something's bothering you. I could sense it. So I'm going to just pay a little more attention so that if you do need me, I am there, rather than, hey, watch this, I'm there.
Okay, I'm putting this in my notebook too, the paying attention. I definitely think there can be a lack of awareness at times when something's a little off. And I'm a blame y'all too, because y'all be acting normal.
For sure. We're trying our best.
Oh, you skipped in the house the
Yeah,
same way you did yesterday.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me you're grieving?
That is true. That is true.
What are some ways to break down that you covering it up, but me just maybe needing to show a little extra concern, or maybe it's daily concern?
Yeah, I think it's that. I think while you're talking about what's going on in life, if you're naturally talking about the things that are really issues, he'll bring it up. You know, if you're bringing up the game, if you're bringing up dinner, if you're bringing up how it's work, it's like it's only going to be those questions answered.
I'm hearing one, just listening and listening to hear you, not listening to respond.
Yes, that's good too.
Yes, that's good.
I'll be like, you didn't have to have answers.
Listen, I'm like, I have my notes. Just be present, pay attention,
Yeah,
rub your back, and just listen.
These things seem so simple, but I know every guy gonna be like, "Thank you, that's all."
It's hard.
That's
We don't know what y'all mean when you talk about be is peace. Like, what does that mean? And I'm saying, okay, maybe this is that, right? Because this is peaceful, like you said. Don't overwhelm.
Yeah.
Check in, and I receive that. But on the communication front, let's say you have your perfect woman, like you found, and you guys maybe haven't dealt with this situation yet, where you know how to show your need, or she knows how to identify it. How can you communicate that as a man so that she's able to correct, or has the opportunity to correct before you go, you just don't listen to me and I'm going to the streets?
Nah, right. I think when a man tries to let a woman know maybe his take on the situation based off her response, that's how he'll approach the next time. So if he feels like, okay, I came at you and maybe I had a comment about this. For starters, he got to make sure he presents it in a way that isn't going to cause you to be combative too. So both parties have to be respectful for one another. But if and when that man does say something, or if that woman does say something, you have to be open to constructive criticism in a way that, it probably took them a minute to tell you that in the first place. So if you hitting them like, man, and it's like, forget it. It's easy to be like, forget it, until it's like they work up the courage and nerve again when they see something like, okay, but I don't like that. That bothers me. Should I hold it in, or should I say something? It could be petty to you, but to me, it's a big thing and it bothers me. So if you make someone feel safe, like, okay, I never even considered it. I'm just used to doing it that way. I'll work on that now that I know that that's how you feel about it. That'll go a long way, even if you don't change it, rather than, I know what you're talking about. It's just communicating and being willing to compromise, even if the action isn't required yet. But just the willingness and, hypothetically being down to see and hear your person. It's mainly that. I see you being willing. I see your, ability to compromise and be willing to shift, because we all change over time. Like, we're not the same person that our partner fell in love with, vice versa. Each person is evolving every day. Each thing that we go through in life is shifting their character just a little bit, whether it's something they love and they want to continue to go towards, or if it's something that they like, let me acknowledge that that's probably not good in me, so I'm gonna remove that. And as we're always growing, it's important to stay communicating with your partner, to just let them know, like, hey, I used to love grits, but I hate them now. Or, yo, you know what I mean? Like, movies, I don't really like sitting in the corner. Like, even if it's little bitty things like that, it's like you're able to first identify it for yourself in order to let your partner know too.
I'm so glad you said that. I think a big part of relationships, especially when they become long term, people don't realize that it's a growing together. And that's why even when you speak about your parents being like junior high sweethearts, we all had a little sweetheart high school or something. And generally, I know it has for some people, generally it doesn't work out because you kind of always want that person to be how you remember them and how you know them. You're like, I know you best. I've known you since the 6th grade.
Yeah.
But it's like, motherfucker, now I'm 60.
It's that.
I have changed.
That,
I have been changing. Like,
Tetherball ain't my shit no more.
my taste buds change every 7 years.
Exactly.
And people, that growing with somebody is really hard for people to accept as if they're not changing too.
Yeah.
And like you said, that the key is that communication. As soon as something changes, I need to let you know.
Yo,
I don't even like eggs no more.
I don't like eggs. I was doing that for you in the beginning because I thought you liked it, but really, I never liked eggs.
Yes.
It's like, yo, at some point, we just have to make sure it's like, yo, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it funky, because that's the faster and easiest way to promised land.
What is a big growth factor, something that you remember in your relationship that you had to let Maya know?
The air conditioner at night. That was our first big argument.
Really?
I was like,
so who likes it cold as hell?
Her.
Okay.
I'm like, bro, we can't keep doing the 69, 70.
Crazy.
It's freezing. So now it's like we compromised at like 72. Okay. But when I go to the hotel and I'm on like tour or I got a show, I'm like, as soon as I'm going up to like 80. I need it hot in here, please.
How did she receive that compromise from you?
It's still a thing.
We're still growing.
We're still growing. But, you know, at first it was very like, yo, she came with the scientific facts. Like, yo, it's better sleep when you're...
She's correct, by the way.
It's cold, you know? So I remember that was a thing. Like, yo, I'm not really rolling. Like, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to sleep in the living room.
How long did you endure this before you felt like it was safe to tell her you were cold?
Right. You know, for a minute it was like I didn't say nothing, and I just started going to sleep with like 2 hoodies on, 2 pairs of pants, because I'm an Aries, so I'm extra out. I'm like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just be looking crazy over here, like, nah, because you know you don't have the AC on, so I'm gonna just be over here with 2 hoodies on. It's okay, don't worry about it. I'm trying to be big and bad, but then after a while it was like, yo, look, we're gonna have to draw the line here, gang. It's either 72, it's either 73. And
I know y'all are in love because this is y'all's biggest problem. I'm like, this is what marriage is.
It's that.
Marriage is the air conditioner.
So now we're at the good 72. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting used to it. Sometimes I'm like in and out the cover, but you know, I always wake up on the right side of the bed next to her.
Let's talk about this macho-ness that men feel that you have to have, right? What makes you all feel like you can't have this softer side or tap into your feminine, because everybody has a masculine and feminine side. That is, those are the facts.
Society, from the movies to the gram to the rap songs, everything is just pushes that, like the warrior energy, you know, the hunt, the dog. And it is true, you know, it is what it is. And I think women love to see a man that maybe they feel can protect them. You know, they look for that security, whether it's finances or muscles. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Or both. But I think it's important for men to be themselves, because no matter what, after a while, it's going to any front you putting up, it's gonna fade, and that's it translates to everything like realness. You got to be real, and I think when women do see the man that they feel is like, yeah, you're checking off all the boxes, it's all there. That is when the man will start to let their guard down. You know, I think once they see and feel it, like, okay, she's trusting me. I know this is that. It's going to take that time for him to just feel comfortable and maybe have that conversation. Maybe y'all start talking about deeper things like 5-year plans or one thing that really opens it up is like couples therapy. When you go and you have a mediator and you're talking to somebody else and you're learning things about your partner that you wouldn't get to in conversation. You just wouldn't. But the therapist's job is to find those trauma points when they started. So if you hear your partner explaining those things and you hear your partner start to cry because they are being healed and you're doing that process together, because no matter what, therapy gonna do that to you. So to do that with somebody, now it's like, okay, we share a piece of each other's past that no one else knows. Now I have so much more grace for when the action happens because I know what started in your character to make you respond in that way, rather than just being like, why you do that when this happens? I don't understand why you always react like that. But now for me, I know why she reacts like that. I know why her mind goes there is because when she was 17, something took it there, rather than just not understanding her. So I think it's important to just know who your partner really is, and once they know you too, and y'all now it's like the wall is, the ice is broken.
Yeah. You're bringing up something important that I don't hear a lot. It's like the value of you being vulnerable. I don't think anybody has talked about that. And
Yeah.
you said a couple things, but I'm asking you again because there's some benefits
Yeah.
to being able to be yourself, show your
Yeah.
emotional side, share, get it out if you were
Yeah.
holding it all in, and value for you understanding your partner better and them
Yeah.
understanding you,
Yeah.
so they can approach you with care.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
what does that mean to you when I
Yeah.
say that to you? What does that
Yeah, I
bring up?
think the first thing that comes to mind is the front again. Like when people put this perception and build this perception of them for the world, for social media, for their partner, it's kind of like, this is the person that I've built up, that I want you to see me as.
Representative.
This is my representative of my build a character, of my avatar, and that's who you can see. And people build that because they feel like that's what the people need in order to accept them. This is my version that I feel will be the most validated, the most celebrated, and I'm going to walk around with this as my shield, hiding my true identity, hiding my real feelings. And I think people carry that as it's close to an insecurity, but it's not an insecurity. I think it's just they don't want to mess up. They just are so nervous about not being accepted, or, but once you are in your super confident bag, once you like, listen, I really, really don't care what no one thinks, what no one says, what no one feels. I don't care about the tweets. I don't care about the comments. Like, once you really are tapped into like not caring, you reach a level of freedom that allows you to experience that vulnerability because you're not worried about what no one else is going to say.
let's talk about weaponizing
Mm-hmm.
what you learned
Yeah.
in these, whether it's couples therapy or you
Yeah.
finally get the back rub and you're open up and you're talking, and then one day you're fighting,
Yeah.
and then see that's why your daddy never came back with the milk, and you're like, this is
How we get here? You made a left turn on Albuquerque.
like that shit really hurt me.
Yeah. Right.
Have you had something you shared be weaponized against you later, and how do you resolve that? How are you
Yeah.
able to still get married and open up to somebody else again instead of saying, "Oh, I'm shut down for life. Now everybody's gonna do this, so I ain't telling nobody
Yeah.
nothing."
Yeah. So nah, I was always, like I said, I was real closed in. I was like, you're only, and I'm talking, and maybe I'm talking about these things from only my personal experiences. Maybe no one else has built that up. Maybe no one, you know what I mean? But for me, it's like I was always in that mode of, not letting nobody in. And I think it wasn't until recent when I was like, all right, I can go ahead and let the guard down because I feel safe. But that is why men don't feel safe. They don't want to say, okay, when I was younger, I don't know, this happened, and now it's something that's being held over their head forever. Because I know a lot of times that can happen where if someone you open up to isn't mature to the level where they can hear something and not hold it against you, then it's just the wrong person. You opened up to the wrong person, and that's not your person. That's not the one you're supposed to confide in. That's not the person you're supposed to lean on their shoulder to cry. And once someone shows that, you got to pay attention. When they show you the true colors, you got to believe in.
Well, how do you not blame everyone else that you meet in the world for that person not being the right person?
That you can't. You gotta be the person to move on and understand each person is different. And when you approach each new situation, when you're reaching or starting a new relationship, you really gotta be open and honest up front. Lay out your expectations and be honest and be willing to have your heart broke, low key. Because a lot of times we try to guard our hearts so much, we never give anyone the chance to take care of it, to nurture it. So, being a fool when it comes to falling in love, but just, having the discernment that the right one is going to be there to catch you when you open up.
And you've been on this growth journey. I'll say, you recently lost your mother. Were you already here with your significant other when that happened? So you were able to release in the way that you needed to, or were you still growing at the time? Was that a part of becoming more comfortable?
I think that really took it there, because when my mom passed, I was very emotionally unavailable, very numb, and life changed.
Yeah.
To this day, it's not like I was truly living to make sure that my mom was good, and I realize that now, like, so much of my energy and effort went to her. And as I was grieving, like I said, in those moments, it was like rock bottom, So for her, she was really there for me in a way that was like, oh man. But we were already in a place where, like I said, that happened like 2 years ago, and now we going on 12 years. So in our relationship, man, we've went through so many things that have made us stronger each time. Even the argument, even when we go through the silent treatment or whatever it is, and we finally get back to where we're communicating again, we've done that over and over and over and over again, And I think the roller coaster of love in life is natural. It's going to happen. But each time that drop happens, when you go up, the clink, 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 it's turmoil. But we just continue to fall in love again and again and again. So I think when you're able to get through tough times, the other moments and the joyful moments and the happy times are just so much brighter. So we were already in such a strong rotation of understanding that when I needed her, she just knew how to say it, whether it's body language, whether it's talking, whether it's not saying anything, and just appreciative because we were able to get to that point when it was necessary for me.
You wrote a fantastic song called "Cry in Front of You."
Yes, thank you.
Obviously, it is that monumental
Yes.
of a thing to cry in front of a person,
Yes.
anybody, let alone your significant other. Or who is that song about, and what I guess what was going through your mind when you went in the studio and said, I need to make a statement about this?
Yeah. So with that song, it was an extension of the grief, and I always wear my heart on my sleeve. When I first fell in love, the first album, Cuffing Season, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, So with this, it was no different. It was where I was at. It was my true emotions while we were creating and writing. And with this album, we knew we was going to just say all the things that I never say. So when it came time, it was all I could think of. It was all like, okay, cool. Let's speak about grief, but from a perspective of just a totally different angle. My POV and what I'm actually going through in real time, and having the support system in my wife. Being able to cry, the words explain it, like living with my guard up. It was hard for me to let them in, but since we took a shot at love, happiness has no end. And those words alone in the verse just really sum up the entire song. Because for the longest, it was like I just been having my guard up. No one could even break through. There's nothing you could say. There's nothing I could say. There's nothing needed to be said because I'm not even letting you in. And this song we recorded it, like I said, like 2.5 years ago, and didn't even release it until now because it was so different than anything I had ever released. So to now have it out and to let the people in on such a deep statement, it feels freeing because it's true, it's real, and never have I ever poured my life into my music like this.
When did that self-awareness come up for you about knowing nobody could get in because you weren't letting them? There wasn't other people.
Yeah.
You said my guard is up, I'm closed.
My guard is up.
Brick wall.
Yeah. I didn't even notice it was up. I was naturally on autopilot. Like, oh yeah, this is how we move. And I was so focused on music and my journey and just loving music that it was like, I love that I have a wife here. I have my career here, I have my family here. And it was like the blinders was just on. So it was no need to even open up to nobody until it was like the tears were jumping out. It was like, oh my God, and the therapy was the start of it. The tears from the grief happened later on, but the first time it was like, was those therapy sessions, because I didn't understand it was an issue. I never even knew that I was holding on to those things or holding things in. So I do encourage everybody out there to give it a shot, whether it's by yourself, whether it's with a couple. Maybe try it out by yourself. But if you do have a partner, it's different because you're not in it by yourself, and when they know that about you, they can help you heal through it.
Do you remember that aha moment in therapy? Because we have a lot of conversation about therapy on here, whether people are going or not going. But my therapist told me that I needed to stop trying to cover up shit and call it chocolate. And I went and I got in my car and I thought about that. And I thought, first of all, he needs to stop cussing. Second, and I drove on it and I was like, yo, I do be doing that. And it was just that simple. That broke down all the walls.
Yeah.
What do you remember, that little thing, or what was the piece of the conversation that stuck with you?
Yeah.
To say, oh, it's me. I had this wall up.
No, it was just knowing that tool of finding the trigger point. each time it would happen in conversation because it would be just the right questions asked. Like, and then when did this happen? And then I explain that. And then now that gives them another context clue to say, okay, well, what about that? And we're slowly making our way back to the root. And I'm just like, wow, I didn't even know that that's why I am the way I am. That's why I tick, or that's why I may, um, you know, be a perfectionist. Like everything has to be perfect because that's how I grew up. They made me think everything was perfect, but it wasn't. So it don't even gotta do that. It was never perfect to begin with. As opposed to me trying to keep up with this fantasy of an idea that's impossible, So just the conversation and finding trigger points of my trauma was when I was sold, because now I can actually be held accountable because I know where the problem lies.
Are you showing up differently as a father now that you know yourself better and how you want to be honest with your kids?
Definitely. I think when I first was in dad mode, it was just like, okay, let's get you everything you want. Yes, I can do it. I worked hard. And now it's like having the wisdom to know, like, yo, you're building their expectations of the world when they get older. So now implementing discipline more, structure, in their lives, screen time from the phone, from the iPads.
And how are you not requiring that machismo from them and letting them know it's okay to cry and to tell us how you feel?
So at first it was like, okay, y'all not about to see me cry. And it was a thing where I was like, all right, I could continue to keep this from them, but it was like, they know my mom died. They know, like, this is crazy. Life without mamo. What is this? So I was being tough for a long time, for my sister, for my wife, for the boys. And it was like a decision in a moment when I was in the bed. I had put my son to sleep, the older son, Eli. And I was like, we was talking about my mom, and I felt the tears coming, and I was like, all right, I can either do the thing where I push him back and be like, yeah, we can do that. Or do I want to just show him how I feel, like for real? And I've done it a few times where it was like, nope, gotta be strong. And one of the times I remember it was just like, man, just let it out. Just go ahead and let it out. And to see his face, he was so concerned. He was nervous. I could see it in his eyes. He was so just wanting to be there for me, attentive. And I think I taught him more showing him the tears than I would have by pushing them away. I think he was able to see strength in the tears. I think he was able to be there for me in a way that prepared him to be there for his family one day. And I was excited that after it seemed we were closer, and like I let him know, like, yo, it's okay to cry, and at the same time still be a man, so that was a good moment for us.
How old is your son?
11.
You were not far off in age than him when you lost your sister.
Yeah.
And you remember that vividly, how you showed up.
Yeah.
In what ways are you proud of yourself and how you've shown up now as a man dealing with losing your mom than with the very little tools that you had as a 9-year-old losing your sister?
When I was 9, I was very helpless. It was very like, I'm just looking at everything that's going on. I'm not understanding how this is even real. A little bit of survivor's remorse where it's like, why me? So for a long time, it was like I just felt crazy. Like I'm here and she's not, So I really carried it for a long time. Like a part of me was missing, a part of me was incomplete. And with my mom, it was like, okay, I've been here before. I know that she's in a better place. Um, we've just done this, So the experience taught me that I can push through. I can make it through it. So it it helped in that sense, but I had to just be. I'm the oldest child, so I couldn't show. In my mind, it was like, yo, when it first happened, all right, what we got to do?
Yeah.
Snapped in. Okay, let's figure out the services. I had a tour that was happening the next month. It was already scheduled in place. It's like, do I cancel the tour? Do I not cancel the tour? And I was like, if we need to cancel it, we'll cancel it. But if everything had happened smoothly, God, I'll still do it. And man, I'm talking about from the church to the casket to the services to getting the programs made, the obituary, getting the person to speak, getting the band together, the person to sing. I did all, you know what I mean? The clothes, the makeup for her hair. It was so many different things that I just had to take care of. And man, it was no different than the way I show up in life every day. My work ethic in music, my dedication towards my family, and that was nothing different. It was like, okay, this is what my mom needs. I had already been in the mode of taking care of her for like a few months, so I was already in mode like whatever you need. So in that case, in that instant, it was just like, okay, these are just different circumstances, but we can handle it.
Are you proud of yourself?
For sure. Definitely proud. I know she proud. We had the best relationship. Always talk on the phone all the time. If I'm in traffic, we on the phone. So there's so many different conversations that repeat in my head. Last words that she spoke, like just the different times of me and her being alone in the hospital or my sister being there or my wife being there. I got a lot of time with her. So it was a slow transfer from me to Jesus.
And these are common things, nobody wants to talk about it, but losing our parents, we hope to be able to outlive our parents. Why is it so important for, I'm going to say, Black men
Yeah.
to find a safe space and to learn how to navigate their emotions and to become self-aware of how they may be blocking themselves from being vulnerable, so that when life inevitably happens, they have the tools and they can handle it and show up to these situations the way they show up to everything else, handling everything else.
Yeah. I think the first step is being self-aware of your own standings as a man, like where you are, because you can't be there for anybody fully if you're blocked off, if you're still like worried about something else that's going on. Now I can't be here. So I think that self-care is more important than we know, because if we were able to get these things off our chest, we would feel so much lighter and be able to be available for other people and be able to pour instead of being empty ourselves. You need zhuzh to be able to pour. You know what I mean? So I think by being there for yourself and whatever that may mean, whether it's body mobility, something as simple as that, meditation, or the things that just really get your mind right, we got to be able to be healed ourselves. So it's important to just take that look in the mirror, and man, then you're able to just be able to pour out more. Just keep saying that.
And to all my ladies out here learning and growing, I hope.
Yes. Yes.
As a man who's being loved and supported very well and feels very safe,
Yes.
can you please talk to us about the importance of showing up for your partner
Yeah.
in that way?
Yes. Oh man. So for a minute, I think my wife was really a professional, I'm gonna be there for you person. So much to the point where I was like, after a while, I was like, is she better than me? Like, I don't like this feeling. Like, we competitive. But she's such a nurturer, and it made me just want to step up even more. So I think I can say to anyone out there, anything that you would like to receive more of, do more of for your partner. And they naturally come around. They naturally want to reciprocate because it just feels so good.
You have your next song that's coming out called Fatherhood.
Yes.
You're telling a little story here in these releases.
Yeah.
I see. What are you excited about for that record? And I'll ask again, where were you at mentally when you said, I need to make a song about this?
Yeah. Man, so that song is another part of me that's so important, becoming a dad. I never really spoke on that in any of my music prior to this album. And it's like from the whole, like you were saying, it's a story. So I remember like it was just yesterday, told me we had a mini me on the way. Couldn't believe it. What a blessing. It was over for my session. It was a wrap because I was at the studio. Lamaya came by. She said, hey, you mind if I pull up? I said, pull up. She said, I'm outside. I went outside. She said, how would you feel if I told you we're pregnant? I was like, what? What? Right now? Is a baby in there right now? And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God. I was so happy to the point where I couldn't even, it's like session's over, guys. Session's over. But man, just shifting that narrative of dads not being there for their kids. It's the craziest concept. So now I'm like, all right, how about this, guys? Ain't no hood like fatherhood. Let's come together. Let's celebrate. Let's have an anthem. You got Dear Mama. You got Mama, being Boys to Men, Tupac, all these songs. Like, we need a Father's Day anthem. We need a song for the dads that we can play and rap an anthem. And just in time for Father's Day, now we do. Now we have the song that can bring the men together that are proud to have their kids, to proud to be a father, to be a dad. And I just felt like it was missing. So now I'm just like, I'm checking all the boxes. This is a necessary album.
This is a beautiful journey. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you.
I know there's a lot of discourse right now in the media about artists not growing and not evolving.
Yeah.
And I was there for cupping season.
Yeah.
And obviously you're talking about something else.
Yes, love that.
And it's a really beautiful thing for an artist to feel safe enough to bring their fans along.
Yeah.
Because the fans they got a lot of opinions.
Yes.
And they don't be really wanting you to grow up sometimes.
Yeah.
But you said, this is the first time you're really putting your life in your music. And your music is your life. And those two things can't happen separately. So I'm so proud of your honesty, your vulnerability, and your bravery to take a risk on your whole career to say, we gonna talk about what I want to talk about.
That's it. That's it.
Because I know the cupping season's over.
That's it. We cuffed. We got enough bedroom slappers. Nigga from old shit, buy my old albums. And we got something to say. So it's a lot that I think people are going to get from this album. At first, you can hear the songs and know what I can do. But now you can hear the songs and know who I am.
I always say I would drop my mics, but they're expensive. So
He said, I'll just give it a look.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Appreciate
it.
Amber. Thank you.
Painless.
Yes, just like that.
You feel safe?
I do. I feel safe. And yeah, I would go cry in the car. Nah, just kidding. Just kidding. I cry
Thank
for
y'all.
you.
Thank you. See you next time.
Yeah.